The South China Sea is the beating heart of global maritime trade, connecting the Indian and Pacific Oceans. Trillions in commerce pass through its lanes each year, making its stability vital for the world economy. Disruptions here ripple across global supply chains, affecting prices everywhere. Beneath its waters lie vast reserves of oil and natural gas, resources that fuel national ambitions and intensify disputes. For countries like China and the Philippines, control means energy security and economic power. The sea is also a critical military theater. Whoever controls its islands can project power deep into Southeast Asia. Every atoll and reef becomes a strategic chess piece, watched closely by Beijing, Manila, and Washington. Its rich fishing grounds sustain millions, but rising tensions have turned traditional fishing areas into conflict zones. Fishermen now face harassment and blockades, threatening their livelihoods and food security. The South China Sea is a treasure chest, a battleground, and a lifeline, all at once. Its fate will shape the prosperity and security of the entire region. The struggle here is not just about territory, but about the future of Asia's people. As the world watches, every move in these waters carries global consequences. The stakes could not be higher. The Philippines bases its claim on proximity and international law, especially UNCLOS, which grants rights within its exclusive economic zone. Manila insists its claims are clear and legally grounded. China, meanwhile, cites ancient maps and historical presence, arguing its sovereignty predates modern treaties. For Beijing, the South China Sea is a lost territory to be reclaimed, a matter of national identity. These perspectives clash, one rooted in modern law, the other in history. For decades, disputes simmered quietly, but as the sea's economic and strategic value grew, so did the conflict. The discovery of energy reserves and China's naval rise turned old disagreements into a regional flashpoint. Now, the past and present collide, fueling a confrontation with no easy solution. The world is left to watch as two visions of order, legal and historical, battle for supremacy. The outcome will define the region's future. China's 9-dash line, a sweeping U-shaped mark on its maps, claims nearly 90% of the South China Sea. This line overlaps with the exclusive economic zones of Vietnam, Malaysia, Brunei, and the Philippines, redrawing Asia's geopolitical map. Its origins are murky, first appearing in 1947, and China has never clarified its exact legal meaning. For neighbors, the line is a direct threat to sovereignty and international law under UNCLOS. It cuts deep into their EEZs, making compromise nearly impossible. China uses the line to justify patrols, blockades, and island building, fueling regional tensions. The 9-dash line is more than a map. It's the symbol of China's ambitions and the heart of the dispute. Every action in these waters is shaped by this bold, controversial claim. In 2013, the Philippines challenged China at an international tribunal under UNCLOS, seeking legal clarity, not ownership. The 2016 ruling was historic. The tribunal found no legal basis for China's 9-dash line and affirmed the Philippines' rights within its EEZ. It also ruled that none of the Spratly features generate their own EEZs, dismantling China's legal claims. China rejected the verdict, calling it invalid and refusing to participate or comply. The ruling has no enforcement mechanism, relying on nations' respect for international law. For Manila, it's a powerful diplomatic tool. For China, a challenge to ignore. The decision clarified the legal landscape. But the power struggle continues on the water. The 2016 ruling stands as a legal truth. Even if not accepted by all, it remains a reference point for future disputes and international pressure. The law is clear, but the reality is contested. The Second Thomas Shoal has become a flashpoint, with Filipino Marines stationed on the grounded BRP Sierra Madre as a symbol of sovereignty. Chinese Coast Guard and maritime militia surround the shoal, blocking Philippine resupply missions. Tensions have escalated. Chinese vessels use water cannons and even military-grade lasers against Philippine boats. These tactics intimidate and risk injury, stopping short of open conflict, but raising the stakes. Each incident is documented and publicized by Manila to rally international support. and expose China's coercion. The world watches as every resupply mission becomes a media event. The struggle is asymmetric. Philippine transparency versus Chinese force. These confrontations are part of a deliberate strategy to wear down Philippine resolve. The water cannon and laser have become symbols of this high-stakes maritime drama. The standoff at Second Thomas Shoal encapsulates the broader struggle for control. The risk of escalation is ever present. China's maritime militia, state-backed fishing vessels, are a key tool in its South China Sea strategy. These aren't ordinary boats. They're larger, reinforced, and equipped for coordinated action, blurring the line between civilian and military. The militia swarms contested reefs, intimidates foreign fishermen, and blockades rivals, all while maintaining plausible deniability. Hundreds have occupied features like Whitsun Reef, establishing de facto control without firing a shot. For the Philippines, confronting this ghost fleet is daunting and often impossible. These gray zone tactics let China change the status quo without triggering war. The maritime militia is China's front line in a slow, grinding campaign for dominance. It's a challenge that leaves rivals with few good options. The United States isn't a claimant, but its interests in freedom of navigation and regional stability run deep. U.S. Navy freedom of navigation operations challenge China's claims, sailing warships near disputed features to assert international law. These operations send a clear message: the U.S. rejects China's attempts to control the sea. China protests, shadowing American ships and warning them to leave. The U.S.-Philippines Mutual Defense Treaty now explicitly covers attacks in the South China Sea, raising the stakes for all sides. For Manila, the U.S. alliance is a security lifeline, but also a source of risk, tying it to great power rivalry. The American presence balances China's power, but entangles the Philippines in a broader contest. The South China Sea is now a stage for U.S.-China competition, with the Philippines caught in the middle. Every maneuver is watched worldwide. The region's fate may hinge on superpower calculations. The shadow of rivalry looms over every wave. Southeast Asia is divided in its response to China's actions. ASEAN's consensus model makes unified action difficult. Vietnam and the Philippines push for a strong stance, while others, like Cambodia and Laos, side with Beijing. China exploits these divisions, using economic leverage to prevent a cohesive ASEAN response. The dream of a united front remains elusive. Beyond ASEAN, regional powers like Japan and Australia have increased support for the Philippines, providing patrol vessels and joint exercises. Even European nations send ships to assert freedom of navigation, recognizing the global stakes. The South China Sea dispute is no longer just regional. It's a test of the international order. The world's response will shape Asia's future. The contest is about more than territory. It's about rules, power, and the balance of the 21st century. The eyes of the world are on these waters. The future of the South China Sea is uncertain and fraught with risk. Tensions could escalate, with gray zone tactics leading to miscalculation or even open conflict. A prolonged stalemate is possible, with constant confrontations, but no outright war, a tense new normal. The best hope is a return to diplomacy, a binding code of conduct, trust building, and cooperation on shared interests. This would require real compromise, especially from Beijing. The choices made in Beijing, Manila, and Washington will shape the outcome. For the Philippines, the challenge is defending sovereignty without provoking disaster. For China, it's pursuing ambition without alienating the world. Navigating these waters demands skill, courage, and a shared desire to avoid war. The world holds its breath as the next chapter unfolds.